Yeah, so again, thank you for the invitation to come talk to you about one of our more exciting builds that we're excited to bring back since COVID. We've hosted biannual unity builds. So we bring together all the interfaith community across the region to come be part of a habitat build process. And in the past, we've actually built a home for Unity Build partner family, habitat family that's moving into the home and purchasing that home. We've built it from start to finish over a month's period of time. We've had local church congregations come out and be part of the build process throughout the month on the weekends. Due to supply chain issues and inspections with the city taking a little longer than anticipated, we've not been able to do that with our builds such as this, where we've been able to do start and finish. But we still have picked a partner family for the build process, or partner families that we'll be building for, that would be the Unity Build partner. And so we'll be working on that component of the house, whatever phase that it's in. So if it's framing or painting or anything like that, we'll be working on that phase of the construction during the weekends that we're planning to build. So we're planning our next Unity Build will be in January of 2023. It's going to be the weekend of 14th, 15th, 16th of January, and then the following weekend, the 20th and 21st. That first weekend is MLK Day weekend, so we're really excited to be able to have kind of a service project along with that weekend. We've not been able to do that for several years, so excited to bring that back. We've had up to several dozen churches participate in the past, and we've had about 6 to 8 kind of as when we were first getting off the ground with it. So we're hoping to really have a great turnout this year with Unity Build. In the past, we've asked the churches to make a financial pledge of $1,500 to each build. We know that due to COVID and Hurricane Ida, churches have really stepped up to be the leader to help congregations and things like that. We're asking that each congregation make a financial investment or pledge, but it doesn't have to be a minimum amount. I know that amount has excluded some of the smaller churches from participating in the back, and we don't in the past, and so we don't want that to be something to exclude a church to participate in the building process. So that's kind of how we have it set up. We've also in the past, pre-COVID, we've taken 100 or so volunteers and just throw them on the site and ask them to find something to do. And about half of them, it was not a meaningful experience for them. We want it to be a meaningful experience. So we've really limited the number of volunteers that we have on our site to around 25 to 30. So if we're able to have 2 partner families, we can have 20 to 25 folks on each site, have so up to 40 to 50 volunteers on the site. We've also never had Unity Build on a Sunday. So we've talked to some of the folks that have been really instrumental in Unity Build's success in the past about having some type of interfaith service that morning on a Sunday, earlier in the morning, like around 8 or 9. So if folks needed to come back and be able to have church with their congregation, they're still able to do that, but have some type of service that morning and then have folks build throughout the afternoon on a Sunday if we have enough interest in making that happen. And also to keep the numbers down, we usually just have all those folks come out and work the entire day. We've talked about having a morning and an afternoon shift where we have volunteers that will come out and volunteer for half a day, but they'll all be together for lunch. So there'll be an overlap. So everybody will be together and be able to the network and things like that, with that sort. So we're just right now, we're hosting information sessions. We had a kickoff breakfast about a week or 2 ago at St. Charles Avenue Baptist Church. They've been really instrumental in the success of Unity Build in the past. And so we're hoping to host several more Unity Build information sessions just to get folks interested in that. The meeting with Aaron, and so we're going to have one here at the church on November 8th, a Tuesday, over lunch. This is a kind of a come and go information session. Folks come in and ask questions about how it works, and we'll try to get some congregations signed up to be part of that process. So we're hoping to have additional. One of the Episcopal churches in the Lakeview area has offered to host an information session, and Household of Faith Church has also offered to host a session, and we're open to having additional sessions at other churches or locations just to get folks interested and signed up. I've got flyers. Can't share it on the screen, but just has all the information.
I can scan them and also one with it.
I can email you.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Nice for getting on.
So where you're presently building at several sites?
So, yeah, so the majority of, or basically all of the build sites that we have right now are either in New Orleans East or in the lower ninth ward. And so our partner families, after they go through the selection process, and they have to do 50 hours of sweat equity, and then they're able to pick their lot. So it's kind of based on where they pick their lot. So I'm also there, and we would love to do more in Jefferson Parish. We purchased last December 40 acres in Terrytown on the West Bank. So we'll be building 150 or so homes over the next 5 years there.
Wow.
We've not broken ground on the site yet. We're having some environmentals completed to be able to access some government funds to the Louisiana Housing Corporation. That's a requirement with them. So having purchased that lot has really created some new relationships within the parish that we've never had before. So the parish does have around a couple dozen lots throughout the parish that they just have not been able to do anything. So they're going to adjudicate those and donate those to Habitat for us to be able to build houses for some folks in the parish. So I'm hoping that we may have some out in kind of this area of Jefferson Parish. So we've predominantly worked in Orleans Parish, but we're trying to branch out. Land in Orleans Parish is becoming not as affordable as it once was, with a lot of developers coming in and purchasing the land for 6 to 8 times what we normally purchase it for. So we just put in, we get most of our lots through NORA, the New Orleans Redevelopment Authority. And so every so often they will put out an RFP for us to be able to acquire lots at no more than $4,000 per lot. So we just submitted a proposal and we're awarded 22 lots. So they'll be kind of scattered throughout Orleans Parish. So, but we're trying to do the same thing in Jefferson Parish, where it's just kind of in the
Particular.
this will most likely be in Orleans Parish in either the lower ninth or New Orleans East, based on the current lots that we have.
So, question time?
Absolutely.
So you guys, you build a house and the family who's being built for participates in building the house.
Absolutely.
And then you sell to them for a 0% interest mortgage, meaning they just pay back the cost of what it costs to build it, right?
Yes, sir.
Like, how do you select the families?
Absolutely. So the family, they have to come in and apply their income restrictions. So they have to between 30 to 80% of area median income based on the household size that they're in. They have to have the ability to repay a mortgage. So they have to have a stable income and job for at least 6 months. They have to have the ability to repay the mortgage, a need for housing. So if it's an overcrowded situation, or if they're in a dangerous situation that they need to get out of, or something like that. And they have to have the willingness to partner. So in addition to financing the home at 0% interest, they put, there's no financial down payment, but they have to perform 250 hours of sweat equity on the home. So they do their first 50 hours working in one of the restores. Then they're able to pick their lot and they finish an additional 50 hours. So they'll have a total of 100 before the actual construction on the home starts. And so once they complete the 100 hours in the restore, then they can work on their home as well as other homes to meet the 250 hours of sweat equity they're required to complete.
And how do you ensure they don't turn around and flip the house for twice the price?
Absolutely. So yeah, we there is a stipulation in the deed. Absolutely. Yeah. So there is a stipulation in the deed that they can't. There's a prepayment. There's an extra penalty if they do that within the first 5 years. We also work with the parish in Orleans Parish specifically. Some of the folks, their mortgage payment is never more than 30% of what their monthly income is. So there's some folks where there's a gap in what the average cost right now is around $155,000. So based on that 30% requirement, they may only can afford $120,000 mortgage. So the parish has some CDBG, first-time homebuyer down payment assistance program. So if they're able to access those funds, they have additional prepayment penalties. So if they were to pay it off within the first 10 years, then they can't do that. But also within the stipulations, are not allowed to rent the home out. So they can't like put it on Airbnb or things like that. So that's throughout the life of their mortgage. So yeah, we're making sure that they're not getting in a home in order just to turn around and resell it pretty quickly. So we've also a lot of folks have seen the Habitat homes that we built after Katrina. We really stepped up. Again, we have some new home plans. So a lot of the homes that you see are 2-3 bedroom homes, 1 bath homes. So now we have 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes, 2 bath homes. We're not building with the highest quality of building materials, but we're not going out and buying the cheapest. We found that when you buy the cheaper materials, the home requires maintenance more often and sooner. So if we're able to set these, a lot of the folks that are getting into these homes already are in kind of marginalized communities, and we don't want to put them at more risk than they are already. So getting them in homes that don't require all of the maintenance that some others have is one of the things that we try to do as well. So we build with hardy plank siding on the exterior and things like that. So it's not horrible building materials.
So if you have 1,000 people applying for 20 homes, how does that work?
Yeah, so we usually have about for every 1,000 applicants that we have, we usually have around 50 to 75 that actually will go through and complete the application. The application is pretty intensive. Our case managers walk them through the process. But there's a lot of folks that there's a lot of paperwork and income verification and things like that that are required that they're not able to do. They just don't follow through. So usually with it every 1,000, we end up around 20 or so that actually go through and actually get recruited. So we get an average of around 1,500 in per week.
Welcome, Rabbi. Introduce yourself.
Hey.
Rabbi.
Hey, I'm David Gerber. I'm the senior rabbi at Congregation Gates of Prayer right down the street. And in pulling up here for the first time, I don't know how anybody could be so close to the smell of Popeye's chicken and function.
It's tough sometimes.
But it's good to see it.
That and the light trad jazz sort of just wafting over the air as well. Jay, would you kind of mention some of the ways that churches could be involved? There's kind of the obvious people swinging hammers, but there's other ways, I think.
Yeah, we try to find something for every volunteer who wants to be part of the process to get involved. We have some folks that the congregations are older, retired, and they don't want to come out and do the physical labor. So we have a lot of congregations that will do food and snack drives, and they'll bring food out and serve the food, the meals to the volunteers that are out there on the site. We're also trying to do some youth engagement type projects. Habitat recently purchased the lot that's behind our office now, and it's got a kind of a big open area. We've worked with high schools in the past where we have our construction team go out and kind of prefab the materials to build a bench. And so they'll be able to come in and basically hammer and nail and screw. So there's no big tools that they would have to work with, but they'll be able to assemble the bench. And then Habitat will then deliver those benches to Habitat homeowners so that they're able to put them on their front or back porch. So able to looking to see what the actual limitations for ages are right now. Our age limitation on the build site is 16 years old. So working with these other ones, we've actually gone on site with schools to do the bench builds. And so we can see what those age ramifications are.
Would that be mobile to another site?
We can definitely do that. That's what we've done fast. So we've never really done it on site, but we're trying to find a place where a lot of youth can come together on one site and network together. We know that our site can host that many folks. Sure.
Anybody else have any questions?
It's a great organization. I served on the board twice.
Okay.
In the inception, went back in the 90s when it first got started. Then after Katrina, I served on the board 2 terms. Pastor Barrier took my spot.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I actually cut some boards?
Yeah. Very good. Very
Couple
good.
times.
I took my daughter. She's in college. Came on the weekend, and so I said, "Come go with me. Put on some work clothes." Ended up on the Habitat job site. Man, damn, what am I doing here? Took pictures and all that. She got real excited about it. Great experience, yes. We worked with them for quite a few years.
We would love to have your congregations come out and be part of it. Kind of the next step is if you're interested, just kind of reach out to me and let me know that y'all are interested and pick a kind of a volunteer leader for your congregation that would kind of be the one to corral the volunteers to either come out and participate on the build site, or if y'all wanted to do some type of food or snack drive, or come out and participate in that manner, or have youth that want to participate. Definitely can get you engaged in some form or fashion. Cool.
Did I hear, so the next date that it would be open would be in January?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it 2 weekends in January.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Yeah, and like the MLK weekend. Okay, cool. I'll put that down. Thank you.
And the
Absolutely.
following weekend.
And the following weekend, absolutely. Cool. So I'll leave several of my cards here in case anyone wants to reach out.
Awesome.
My contact information is also on the flyer as well.
And you'll send me
And
the,
I'll send you electronic version of this.
Perfect.
You can get it out to everyone.
and I will share that, the flyer and the video.
Great.
Out to the rest of the folks, and then they can be as involved as they would like to.
That'd be fantastic.
Perfect. Awesome. Any
Great.
last minute questions?
No.
All fine. Great questions. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you all
You're
very
welcome to
much.
hang out longer, or
I've got another meeting to go get ready.
No, I
So,
understand.
Very good. No problem. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
y'all.
much for
your
your
help.
help.
for being here.
Thanks. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you.